by Borrow from Morrow. Longtime supporter of our broadcast, Matt Morrow, and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible. They do that by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including a handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from experienced loan officers. Matt and his team of loan officers understand the local markets, have access to a wide variety of loan programs, and are ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball by First Responder Broadcasting is brought to you by Carissa Bradford, your local Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans, protecting our families since 1952. The mission of Texas Farm Bureau is to help policyholders manage the financial risk of everyday life and successfully recover from insured losses through prompt, professional, personal service based on high ethical standards. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance offers comprehensive insurance policies for auto, home, farm and ranch, commercial, and life. Carissa can help you find the perfect policy to give you peace of mind that you're covered by a trusted and reputable insurer. For all your insurance needs, call Carissa at 512-777-8511 or visit www.tfb-ins.com. A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. Jenny Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's jenny.mahan@cbunited.com.
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Georgetown High School in Eagle Field. We get ready for the ball game here between your Georgetown Eagles and the Cedar Ridge Raiders out of Round Rock High School. Out of the 6A Region 4 District 25, they come in 21-10 on the year, 10-4 in District 25. They are the 3 seed that will advance to the playoffs to represent District 25. They're in the gray pants with the black jerseys, with gray lettering outlined in purple. CR on the front of those jerseys on the left chest area, with the gray numerals on the bottom right side on the front and big numerals on the back, both in gray outlined in purple, with the gray hats, purple bill with CR on the hats. They will be out of the first base dugout, your Georgetown Eagles. In the home team dugout down the third baseline, they're in the white pants with blue pinstripes, the digital camouflage uniforms with the American flag numerals on the front and back, the white hats with the blue talon on the front with the blue bill out of the third base dugout. Today, a special day. They recognize the Challenger group that comes in every Saturday at 9 o'clock for the Challenger games. They will have a chance to be on the field with the players here in just a minute. And so when they're ready to go to that, we'll go live to the PA announcer. That will be Joey Lawrence, and we'll let him welcome in the teams, the Challengers, and they'll give you both the starting lineups by the PA announcer. Georgetown with the win last night did it. They went through the district run of District 23 in 5A Region 3, and they went undefeated 14-0 with a big 8-1 win on the road over the Bastrop Bears that officially eliminated Bastrop from the playoff hunt. So Georgetown, the number 1 seed out of District 23, your undefeated district champions for the third year in the row. The district champions are your Eagles. In second place was Elgin. They got the win over Pflugerville Hendrickson last night, so they are at 10-4, the number 2 seed. Hendrickson at the 3 seed at 8-4, and then Eastview will be the 4 seed at 6-6. And so out of District 25 6A, Vista Ridge is the district champions. They'll be in the 1 seed. They share with Round Rock, but Round Rock losing the head-to-head battle in 0-2 against Vista Ridge will be the 2 seed. Cedar Ridge the 3rd, and then Westwood upending Vandergrift last night to take the 4 seed for 6A District 25. We're about to have the meeting at the home plate between the umpires and the coaches. We'll take a quick break. Be back with more Eagle baseball here in just a moment. We're back live here at Eagle Field, the all-turf infield, natural grass outfield, 323 down the lines, 385 to the deepest parts of left center and right center field alleys, with the blue batter's eye directly away from us here at home plate. Jordan Vieira, the manager for the head coach for the Georgetown Eagles, alongside his manager Jared Frimmel, meets at home plate with the head coach of the Cedar Ridge Raiders. That is Coach Darrell Reeves. And so they meet at home plate with the 2-man umpire crew as they get ready to break things out. And after the coaches' meeting is over, we will go to the PA announcer and bring you the introductions for the Challenger group and the starting lineups for today's ball game. The Cedar Ridge Raiders out of the Round Rock ISD. They have, as student managers, Brooklyn Lopatowski, Nat Martinez, and Jesse Watson. Student trainer is Paulina Ruelas Zuniga. Head coaches Darrell Reeves. Assistant coaches Joe Garza, Kevin Zacchaeus, and Drew David. Athletic trainers Matt Owens, Ethan Martinez, and Brianna Blue. Athletic coordinator Sam Robinson. Principal is Jonathan Smith. For your Georgetown Eagles, head coach is Jordan Vieira in his 5th season at the helm. He is assisted by Chad Payne, David Durrell, James Key, and Frank Anzuris. Athletic trainers, Chad Hennessy and Vanessa Rideau. Athletic director is Jason Dean. Athletic coordinator is Chuck Griffin here at Georgetown High School. Alongside Principal Brian Johnson, one of the best in the business to lead this high school here. And Devin Padaville, the superintendent for Georgetown High School. Jake Bachman, the director of baseball operations. Ruby Hellman, Nicole Witt, Carter Campbell, and Grace King, the stat girls. And Jared Frimmel, the manager, there with Coach Vieira at home plate. Georgetown, the champion out of District 23, their head, the playoffs ahead of them look like this. They will play a 3-game series Thursday, Friday, and Saturday against Navarro High School out of Austin ISD. Thursday will be at Nelson Field, weather permitting, and then Friday and Saturday here, and Saturday as needed. We'll go to the PA announcer for today's introduction.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Georgetown Eagle baseball field for today's game between the Cedar Ridge Raiders and your Georgetown Eagles. Starting lineups for today's game. Starting for Cedar Ridge Raiders, batting first, playing center field, number 11, Omari Johnson. Batting second, playing short, number 4, Hudson Hartgrove. Batting third, playing catcher, number 2, Peyton Doolin. Batting fourth and DHing today, number 24, Matthew Fletcher. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 3, Nick Bonacci. Batting sixth, playing second base, number 16, Carson Reeves. Batting seventh, playing right field, number 28, Jake Shoemaker. Playing first base, batting eighth, number 8, Landon Phillips. Batting ninth, playing third base, number 7, Diego Olivas. And on the mound today for the Raiders, number 25, Blake Milberger, and the rest of the Raider team and their coaching staff. And now for your Georgetown Eagles. Leading off, playing center field, number 17, Devin Peterson. Batting second, playing third base, number 2, Talon Ball. Batting third over at first base today, number 21, Riley Leininger. Behind the plate today for your Eagles, number 16, Reese Herrera. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 10, Andrew Nations. Batting sixth, your DH today, number 7, Hayden Cruz. Batting seventh and in right field, number 11, Jackson Rainey. Batting eighth, playing second base, number 4, Cord Lawrence. Batting ninth, playing shortstop, number 6, Luke Holly. On the mound today for the Georgetown Eagles, number 18, Hagan Tate. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you will stand and gentlemen remove your caps, we will have the playing of the national anthem.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Longtime supporter of our broadcast, Matt Morrow, and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible. They do that by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including a handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from experienced loan officers. Matt and his team of loan officers understand the local markets, have access to a wide variety of loan programs, and are ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148.
So for your Georgetown Eagles today in the lineup, Peterson, Ball, and Leininger in the top third, Herrera, Nations, Grooms in the middle third, Rainey, Lawrence, and Holly in the bottom third. On the mound, the righty, number 18, there he is. I got lost in my own roster. Number 18, the 6'4", 185-pound junior, throws right. Number 18 is Hagen Tate, your starting pitcher today for the Georgetown Eagles. For the Cedar Ridge Raiders, Omari Johnson, Hudson Hartgrove, Peyton Doolin in the top third, Fletcher, Bonacci, and Reeves in the middle third, Shoemaker, Phillips, and Olivas in the bottom third. On the mound for the Cedar Ridge Raiders will be Blake Milberger. And so we'll go to the top of the first inning. It's brought to you by Carissa Bradford, the Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. As we go to the top of the first, it'll be Omari Johnson, the center fielder for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. Johnson steps in. He's a 5'11", 165-pound senior. Bats left, throws left. As he steps in to lead off against Tate out of the windup. First pitch swinging, fouled back out of play. 0-1 the count now to Omari Johnson as we get started here at Eagle Field in the top of the first inning. Hagen Tate from the first base side of the rubber from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. That one's up and away for ball one. Evens out the count at 1-1 now to Omari Johnson. Hudson Hartgrove, the shortstop, on deck. Peyton Doolin, the catcher, in the hole here in the top of the first. As Hagen Tate works out of the windup, the 1-1 pitch to Johnson. Line drive, or fly ball, hit into right field. Jackson Rainey charges in, calls off Lawrence to make the catch for out number one. F9 in the book to retire Omari Johnson. And that'll bring up the shortstop, number 4, Hudson Hartgrove. Hartgrove steps in. He's a 6 foot, 170-pound junior. Bats right, throws right. As he steps in here with one out and the base is empty in the top of the first inning for the Raiders. First pitch from Hagen Tate, low and outside for ball one. 1-0 the count now to Hudson Hartgrove, the junior shortstop. Out of the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Pop fly into center field. Devin Peterson will drift to his right. Calls for it and settles under it. And makes the catch for out number 2 to retire Hartgrove. F8 in the book for out number 2. And that'll bring up the catcher number 2, Peyton Doolin. Here for the Cedar Ridge Raiders with 2 outs and the base is empty. Doolin, the 6'5", 185-pound senior. Bats left, throws right, steps in here from the left side with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Hagen Tate from the windup, the first pitch. That one's away for ball one. Bear with me. It's a solo operation right now here in the booth. So trying to run the cameras, the scoreboard and all. The 1-0 pitch stays inside for ball number 2. 2-0 the count now to the catcher, Doolin. Doolin steps in from the left side. Hagen Tate from the windup, the 2-0 pitch. Ball put into play down the third baseline. But that'll curl out of play, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strikes now to the catcher, Peyton Doolin. Matthew Fletcher, the DH, on deck for the Raiders. Should Doolin be able to extend the inning here at the top of the first for the Raiders. Hagen Tate from the windup. Ground ball hit out in the field to second. Lawrence up with it to throw to first in time. And the Raiders go in order here in the top of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base after half an inning. Cedar Ridge 0, Georgetown coming up to bat. Eagle baseball continues here in just a moment.
Portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball by First Responder Broadcasting is brought to you by Carissa Bradford, your local Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans, protecting our families since 1952. The mission of Texas Farm Bureau is to help policyholders manage the financial risk of everyday life and successfully recover from insured losses through prompt, professional, personal service based on high ethical standards. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance offers comprehensive insurance policies for auto, home, farm and ranch, commercial, and life. Carissa can help you find the perfect policy to give you peace of mind that you're covered by a trusted and reputable insurer. For all your insurance needs, call Carissa at 512-777-8511 or visit www.tfb-ins.com.
We go to the bottom of the first. The first pitch to Devin Peterson, foul back off the screen. For strike one, 0-1 the count to Devin Peterson. The pitcher for the Raiders, number 25, Blake Milberger, a 5'10", 165-pound junior. The right-hander gets to work here at the bottom of the first. From the windup, the first base side of the rubber, Peterson, the right-handed batter, the 0-1 pitch. A ball put into right field. It's going to be hauled in right field by Shoemaker. No, he drops it. It's going to be an error, and Devin Peterson is going to reach second base on that error. A big mistake made there by the right fielder, Shoemaker.
Now batting number 2, Talon
He drops that
Ball.
So a big error gives Georgetown a leadoff base runner up to second base on that error by Shoemaker. So E9 in the book, and in steps Talon Ball. Here in the bottom of the first. Ball steps in from the right side. Talon, the 5'9", 165-pound senior. Bats right, throws right. The first pitch from Milberger is in there for a called strike. 0-1 to count. Peterson, Ball, and Leininger here in the top of the first, or bottom of the first for your Georgetown Eagles. Milberger moves to the stretch with a runner on base. A look back at second base as he comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Talon ground ball to third. High hopper over the head of the drawn-in third baseman Olivas into left field. And with no outs, there'll be runners on the corners for Georgetown. The first hit of the ball game from Talon Ball into left field. Great piece of hitting there by Talon Ball. Third baseman is up on the grass.
Leininger.
And that one took a high hop off the turf over the head of Olivas into left field. And now Riley Leininger will step in with no outs and runners on first and third. Leininger, the 6'2", 220-pound senior, throws right, bats left as he steps in here. The face-off against Milberger in the bottom of the first. First pitch is Talon Ball off and running to throw down to second, cut off. And now Talon Ball is going to get into a rundown between first and third. And he'll be tagged out by the first baseman, Phillips, for out number 1. So another run of what happened last night at Bastrop. A base running mistake has cost the Eagles an out here in the top of the first inning. So Leininger will step in with a runner at third base and 1 out now. Infield on the grass for the Eagles, or for the Raiders. And this one's a called strike to Riley Leininger. 1-1 to count to Riley Leininger with the 1 out. That one will go 2-4-3 on the caught stealing. Leininger sends a shot down the right field line. It'll take a foul ball, one less than a foot foul as the wind kind of swirling here inside the stadium. The Texas flag kind of draping to the pole. The American flag back and forth between the left and the right. And a long strike there and a 1-ball, 2-strike count now to Riley Leininger with a runner on third and one out here in the bottom of the first. Milberger from the stretch comes set. The 1-2 pitch to Leininger. Leininger takes it low and inside for ball two. 2-2 now the count to Leininger. One out. The runner at third. A big error by the right fielder Shoemaker. Allowed Peterson to reach second base on a drop fly ball. Now he's at third base with a 2-2 count to Leininger. 2-2 pitch fouled off back to the screen. And Leininger stays alive in the at-bat. With one out, runner at third. Talent ball moved up. Peterson over to third base on a single into left field. But then trying to get in the rundown to get the run home. He got picked off. It caught stealing there on the 2-4-3 caught stealing. And now a 2-2 count to Leininger with one out. The 2-2 pitch. Leininger sends this into left field. Bonacci runs. It's over his head. One hop off the wall. That'll be an RBI double for Riley Leininger. He'll head into second base, and the first run of the ball game comes across for Georgetown here in the bottom of the first on a beautiful double over the head of Bonacci in left field. To score, Devin Peterson from third base. Second hit of the ball game for Georgetown.
Now batting number 16.
In steps the catcher.
Reese Herrera.
You hear it there, number 16, Reese Herrera. Reese, a 6'1", 190-pound senior. Bats right, throws right. Steps in here with one out and a runner at second base. Beautiful piece of hitting there by Riley Leininger. Score the run from third on the one-hop double off the wall in left field. The first pitch to Herrera. Pop fly down the first baseline. But it is going to be off the top of the clamshell for strike one. 0-1 to count to Reese Herrera. As the catcher Doolin gave chase, but ran out of real estate on the first base side near the dugout. So Milberger will stay in the stretch with the runner at second. A look in, and now comes set in the stretch. A look at second base. Pickoff throw to second base. Leininger in under the tag at second base. Hudson Hargrove covering there, the shortstop for the Raiders. Riley Leininger leads off second. One out here in the bottom of the first. Georgetown leads it 1-0. An 0-1 count to Herrera. Swing and a miss. Makes it 0-2. Now Herrera will have to battle with an 0-2 count here. With Andrew Nations, the left fielder, on deck. Milberger comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball into left field, a base hit. Leininger is going to be held at third base as the throw comes in out of left field. But that's going to allow Herrera to get up to second base. Oh, a single for Reese Herrera, the third hit of the ball game for your Georgetown Eagles. A great piece of hitting there on an 0-2 count. He moves up into second base on the throw in to keep Leininger at third. And so the courtesy runner.
Now running number 5, Tate Ritchie.
For Herrera, down to second base goes Tate Ritchie. So now runners at second and third with one out here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 for your Georgetown Eagles. Nation steps in, the 6'2", 190-pound senior. First pitch, ground ball hit to first. It gets past the first baseman. Second baseman there to cover, makes the play in time. But that'll be an RBI ground out by Andrew Nations to score the second run of the ball game. And the Eagles have a runner at third with 2 outs now. And a 2-0 lead. Great job there by Nations. Scores Leininger on that ground out. Great play there by the second baseman Reeves to cover that ground ball off the glove of Phillips. So 4-3 on the put out of Nations on that RBI ground out. And now Tate Ritchie over at third base. As Hayden Grooms, the DH, steps in for the Eagles, takes the first pitch outside for ball one. 1-0 the count to Hayden Grooms. 5'10", 180-pound junior, bats right, throws right, steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at third. 2 runs across for Georgetown here in the inning. Milberger's 1-0 pitch. That one's high for ball two. 2-0 now the count to Hayden Grooms. Grooms back in from the right side. Milberger comes set in the stretch. The 2-0 pitch. Grooms right back up the middle. It's an RBI base hit for Hayden Grooms with 2 outs. And Georgetown puts their 3rd run on the board here in the bottom of the 1st inning on their 4th hit of the inning. Great piece of hitting there by your DH, Hayden Grooms.
Jackson Rainey.
That scores Tate Ritchie from 3rd base. Now a runner on first with 2 outs, and in steps Jackson Rainey. He's the 6'2", 215-pound senior. Throws right, bats left as he steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at first. Throw to first, and Grooms back in under the tag. Still in the bottom of the 1st. The Eagles doing damage with 2 outs here. First pitch swinging. Rainey fouls it off out of play. 0-1 the count to Jackson Rainey, the number 7 hitter in the Georgetown lineup. Activity in the Cedar Ridge bullpen down the first baseline as Milberger comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Rainey. That one's low in the turf. Gets away from the catcher, Doolin is the catcher. And Doolin keeps it close, so Hayden Grooms unable to advance. 1-1 the count now to the right fielder, Jackson Rainey. Rainey back in from the left side as Milberger comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. The ball hit into left field. Bonacci turns and runs, and he'll be able to get to this one for out number 3. F7 of the book to retire Rainey and the Eagles here in the bottom of the 1st, but not before. Georgetown picks up 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. After 1 complete inning, Georgetown 3, Cedar Ridge 0. Eagle baseball continues in just a moment.
First Responder Broadcasting is brought to you by Carissa Bradford, your local Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans, protecting our families since 1952. The mission of Texas Farm Bureau is to help policyholders manage the financial risk of everyday life and successfully recover from insured losses through prompt, professional, personal service based on high ethical standards. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance offers comprehensive insurance policies for auto, home, farm and ranch, commercial, and life. Carissa can help you find the perfect policy to give you peace of mind that you're covered by a trusted and reputable insurer. For all your insurance needs, call Carissa at 512-777-8511 or visit www.tfb-ins.com.
And we go to the top of the 2nd inning. I'll get it all straightened out here. Georgetown leads it off, leads it 3-0. As Fletcher will lead it off, the number 4 hitter for the Raiders here against Hagen Tate in the top of the 2nd. First pitch misses away for ball 1, 1-0 the count to Matthew Fletcher, the number 4 hitter. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up here in the top of the 2nd for the Raiders. Fletcher, Bonacci, and Reeves. The 1-0 pitch to Fletcher down low for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Fletcher. The 2-0 pitch is up and in for ball 3. 3-0 the count now to the number 4 hitter, the designated hitter, Matthew Fletcher. Fletcher, the 6'2", 195-pound junior, bats left, throws left. The 3-0 pitch from Hagen Tate is outside for ball 4, so a leadoff walk here in the top of the 2nd as the first base runner onto the ball game for the Raiders. First walk issued by Hagen Tate after working a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 1st. And now a quick visit from head coach Chad Payne. Quick timeout. Eagle baseball continues here in just a moment. And back after the short visit from Coach Payne with Hagen Tate as he moves to the stretch with the runner on first base. The first pitch to the number 5 hitter, Nick Bonacci, is this swing and a miss. Strike one. 0-1 to count to Bonacci. Bonacci, the left fielder. 5'10", 160-pound senior. Bats right, throws right, steps back in. Hagen Tate from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. In there for a call to strike two. 0-2 the count now to Bonacci. Fletcher leads off first, being held on by Leininger. As Hagen Tate works from the first base side of the rubber in the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Ball hit into right center field. That's going to be down for a base hit. First hit of the ball game. Jackson Rainey cuts it off. He'll throw it in. It'll be cut off, and it'll keep the runner at first and third now. As Fletcher able to advance all the way to third base on that base hit. First one of the ball game for the Raiders. Nice piece of hitting there by Nick Bonacci.
Carson Reeves.
And that'll bring up Carson Reeves, the second baseman. Carson Reeves, a 6'2", 165-pound senior, throws right, bats right. Steps in here with no outs and runners on the corners for the Raiders as they try to get back into this one here at the top of the second. A quiet first inning for the Raiders offensively. But defensively, they were attacked by the Eagles to give up 3 runs. Tate comes set, the first pitch to Reeves on the outside for ball one. 1-0 the count to Carson Reeves, the second baseman. Fletcher off of third base, Bonacci off first base. Bonacci held on by Leininger. Throw over to first base, and they got him. What a pickoff there by Hagen Tate. Bonacci got greedy, and he gets to sit down in the dugout for out number 1 here at the top of the second. A beautiful pickoff by Hagen Tate. That's the way you erase a base runner there. Now just a runner at third base with 1 out. Here in the top of the second, a great job by Hagen Tate. The 1-0 pitch to Reeves. Ground ball, high hopper towards the shortstop. Holly, field throw on the run across the diamond in time for out number 2. You'll give up the run to get the out across the diamond, and a great play there by Luke Holly. So it's 2-1 now. Or 3-1. Georgetown leads it, but with 2 outs, the bases are empty. And in steps the right fielder, Jake Shoemaker. Shoemaker, 5'10", 166-pound freshman. Bats left, throws right as he steps in here with the bases empty and 2 outs. A 1 run across, a swing and a miss for strike 1 to Shoemaker. 6-3 on the putout for Carson Reeves at first base for out number 2 in the inning. As Fletcher was driven in by that ground out. The 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 to count to Jake Shoemaker. Shoemaker had a tough bottom of the first inning. Dropped the initial pop fly from Devin Peterson leading off the bottom of the first for Georgetown. And ended up costing the Raiders the first run of the ball game, and the Eagles got hot after that. The 1-1 pitch, fly back out of play for strike 2. 1-2 the count now to Jake Shoemaker, the right fielder. 2 outs here in the top of the first. I'll get caught up on the scoreboard. 3-1, Georgetown leads it after 3 runs in the bottom of the first. 1 surrendered here in the top of the second with 2 outs. And the base is empty. Tate out of the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Raiders are down here in the top of the second. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base after an inning and a half. Georgetown 3, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. bottom of the second, Georgetown will bring up the 8-9-1 hitters. Cord Lawrence will lead it off against the new pitcher. First pitch swinging. It's into right center field. That's going to be extra bases. The ball's down, and Lawrence is around first, headed to second base. Lawrence is going to head for third. The ball just being picked up at the wall. Cord heads to third base, and he'll be in there with a leadoff triple. Take advantage of your opportunities, young man. What a leadoff shot there by Cord Lawrence. The Eagles have a base runner at third base and no outs, and in steps the number 9 hitter, Luke Colley.
Number 6.
One pitch, and he swung, Dave, and he didn't even give me a chance to give his information. And so it's a great job there by Cord Lawrence as he dumps that all the way to the wall at the furthest part of the stadium, 385.
No need for introduction when you're hitting like that.
In steps Luke Colley for your Georgetown Eagles. The first pitch is high. Nope, it's in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Luke Colley. I got to get caught up here now. Cord Lawrence took no time putting that pitch into right center field for a triple. Holly fly ball down the right field line, but it is going to go out of play as Phillips gives chase. Nope, it blows back into foul territory. What a job there by Phillips to stay with that one. And so Luke Colley's out for out number 1. The wind caught that one and brought it back into play. You hear the catcher yelling out, out, out to protect his player. But instead, it's a catch made. On the mound for the Raiders is Matthew Fletcher. He is the DH. He came in to pitch here in the top of the bottom of the second. And in steps Devin Peterson. He's 0 for 1, reached on an error and scored a run. Squares the bunt, pulls it back and takes it outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Runner at third base. The Eagles will love to get that run home. Cord Lawrence led off with that triple. Fletcher, the lefty, comes set on the third base side of the rubber. The 1-0 pitch. Outside corner for strike 1. 1-1 the count now to Devin Peterson. Fletcher, the lefty, comes set in the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball, but fouled off of himself for strike 2. 1-2 the count now to Devin Peterson. So in his only inning of work, Milberger allowed 3 runs on 4 hits. Fletcher now in. He's allowed 1 hit here in his first inning of work. Fletcher comes set. The 1-2 pitch to Peterson. Swing and a miss. For out number 2. First strikeout for Fletcher.
Number 2, Talon Ball.
That'll bring up Talon Ball now with 2 outs and a runner at third. Talon 1 for 1 in the ball game. Single to left field. Back in the first inning was caught stealing in the 2-4-3 for out number 1. First pitch is in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Talon. Eagles would love to take advantage of that leadoff triple by Cord Lawrence. Fletcher a long look in, comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch just misses outside for ball 1. 1-1 the count now. Your senior third baseman, Talon Ball. Fletcher comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Talon lays off and takes it outside for ball 2. 2-1. Riley Leininger on deck. Should Talon be able to extend the inning for the Eagles? But now the wind's starting to pick up, Dave, blowing out to left field. The 2-1 pitch misses for ball 3, so that could play havoc with these balls. You get a ball up into left field, up into that wind, it can get out of here in a hurry.
Right, I'll get the numbers for you here in a minute, but we're expecting 18 to 20 mile an hour winds sustained, not including the gusts.
The 3-1 pitch to Talon. Misses outside, ball 4. They throw down behind Cord Lawrence at third, but he got under the tag. So now runners on the corners with 2 outs. A good job there by Talon. Another 2-out base runner. He's down at first base.
Riley Leininger.
Leininger will step in, which talks about that win that you're talking about, bringing that ball from foul territory back into the field of play to allow Phillips to catch that one on Luke Colley for the first out.
That had to have been what happened because that wind is whipping out of the south from right to left as you look at your screen.
So now with 2 outs, Riley Leininger steps in. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game, an RBI double in the first, and a run scored. This pitch misses for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Riley. Georgetown, your 2023 district champions, undefeated, 14-0. Getting ready for the playoffs next week against Navarro out of Austin ISD. The 1-0 pitch from Fletcher. Line shot down the left field line, curls out of play. And the count evens up now to 1-1. Cedar Ridge, the number 3 seed out of 6A District 25, awaits their opponent as Lake Travis and Dripping Springs both playing out of District 26 today, their final ball game. Lake Travis wins, then it will be Dripping Springs that Cedar Ridge will face off against, but they could have to wait till next week for a seeding game. A 1-1 pitch misses low and outside, ball 2. But Georgetown is set in their schedule. Thursday, Friday, Saturday matchup. Saturday if needed. Thursday at Nelson Field, weather allowing. And then Friday at Georgetown, both 7 p.m. starts. And Saturday if necessary, back here at Georgetown at Eagle Field. 2-1 pitch to Leininger. That hits him, and now the bases are loaded full of Eagles with 2 outs here at the bottom of the second. Talon Ball will move up to second. Cord Lawrence down at third. Now Leininger at first base. On the hit by pitch, and here comes Reese Herrera, who's 1 for 1 in the ball game.
Herrera!
Red Poppy Festival going on. If you need a break, come down here at Eagle Field. Good baseball game going on between these 2 playoff teams. Tell you what, Coach Vieira loves to schedule these Saturday games for get these players ready for the quick turnarounds Friday and Saturday, and he does it against the good playoff teams out of 6A baseball to challenge his team, and the Eagles playing well so far here in the ball game. Dave, what's that weather look like?
Well, it's between 80 and 81 degrees today for the game. Winds south-southeast at 15 to 16 miles an hour. So the humidity is up there pretty good. It feels like 84 for the guys out there. It's 70% humidity, so it's pretty sticky.
Fletcher comes set. The first pitch, Herrera swinging, pop fly, left side of the infield. The third baseman, Olivas, calls for it, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. So the Eagles go down here with no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. After 2 complete innings, Georgetown 3, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle baseball continues in just a moment.
A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball.
We go to the top of the third. Hagen Tate on the hill for your Eagles in his third inning of work will face off against the 8-9-1 hitters. First pitch swinging foul tip by Phillips into the glove of Reese Herrera for strike 1. 0-1 to count. The first baseman, Landon Phillips, steps in for his first plate appearance. A 6-foot, 180-pound senior first baseman. Bats right, throws right. The 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 to count to Landon Phillips. Tate through 2 innings of work. Has only allowed 1 hit, walked 1. 1-1 pitch. Just misses for ball 2. 2-1 to count now. Phillips, Olivas, and Johnson do up the 8-9-1 hitters. Here in the top of the third for the Raiders. Tate from the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Fly ball back out of play for a strike. 2-2 to count now. A lot of activity going on in the area with the Red Poppy Festival, but a good opportunity if you want to take a break. Get up here in the Eagle Field, enjoy this baseball game. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss as Phillips chased it high and inside for out number 1. here in the top of the third. Nice pitch there by Hagen Tate to get that out.
Yeah, we went up to the Red Poppy Parade this morning at 10 o'clock. Got to see the Eastview Band, the Georgetown Eagle Band, the cheerleaders, the Georgettes. A nice, fun little community parade.
The way you want it. This ball put into play into left field. Andrew Nations moves under it. He'll settle under it for the catch. F7 in the book. One pitch to Olivas, and he's out for out number 2. Olivas is a 5'8", 155-pound junior. And now back to the top of the lineup. Amari Johnson, he's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Steps in with 2 outs and the base is empty here for the Raiders in the top of the third. Hagen Tate from the first base side of the rubber in the windup, the first pitch. Misses outside for ball 1, 1-0 the count. Johnson flied out to right field to Jackson Rainey back in the first inning to lead it off. Steps in here with the bases empty and 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch skips in there for ball 2, 2-0 the count. To the center fielder, Omari Johnson. Back in from the left side. Hagen Tate looks in and gets a sign from the catcher, Reese Herrera. The 2-0 pitch. That one's high, ball 3. 3-0 the count now. Hagen Tate steps off and gathers himself here. 3-0 count with 2 outs and the bases empty to Omari Johnson, the 3-0 pitch. That one misses for ball 4. And a 2-out base runner now for the Raiders. As Johnson draws the 2-out, 4-pitch walk. Second walk issued by Hagen Tate. And Hudson Hartgrove will step in. He's the shortstop. Steps in 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to center field back in the first inning. Johnson leads off first, held on by Leinegers. Hagen Tate moves to the stretch. First pitch to Hartgrove, the runner off, swing and a miss. Herrera unable to get a grasp on that one to make the throw down. So the first stolen base of the ball game. But it's an 0-1 count now to Hudson Hartgrove. 2 outs and a runner at second. Hagen Tate stays in the stretch with Amari Johnson leading off second. A look back at second base, the 0-1 pitch to Hartgrove. Chases one down in the turf for it called a strike, swing and a miss. 0-2 the count to Hudson Hartgrove. On deck, Peyton Doolin, the catcher. Should Hartgrove be able to extend the inning? The 0-2 pitch, ground ball fouled off of himself. A dead ball at the plate, so the count remains 0-2 to Hudson Hartgrove. 2 outs and a runner at second. 3-1, Georgetown leads it. Georgetown got 3 in the bottom of the first. Cedar Ridge responded with 1 of their own in the top of the second. As Hagen Tate works in his third inning. 22 pitches through the first 2 innings, 9 in the first, 13 in the second. As he works here in the top of the third. A look at second base. The 0-2 pitch. Low and outside. Nice play there by Reese Herrera to keep that in front of him. 1-2 the count to Herrera. First Responder Broadcasting is applied with NFHS to cover the playoff series between your Eagles and the Navarro Vikings. If we get the broadcast rights, it'll be broadcast on the NFHS network. You'll have to go to their website to be able to see the series there between the two teams. Throw to second base by Tate. Johnson back in, standing safely there. 1-2 still the count to Hartgrove. 2 outs here in the top of the third inning. Chatter between the dugouts continues. The 1-2 pitch from Hagen Tate. Ground ball off the glove of Talon Ball. He picks it up, fires across the diamond in time, and Leininger got back on the bag to get the out. 5-3 on the putout. And what a play there by Talon Ball. That'll end the inning, and no runs allowed here in the inning for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. No runs on no hits, 1 error, or no errors. And 1 runner left on base after 2.5 innings. Georgetown 3, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle Baseball continues in a moment.
A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball.
We go to the bottom of the third. The Eagles will bring up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters against Fletcher on for his second inning of work. Andrew Nations will lead it off. First pitch from Fletcher. Nations ground, puts a bunt down the third baseline. The charge, the throw, bang, bang play in time. Wow, that was a close one. What a play by Olivas at third base. 5-3 as he threw it almost upside down, standing on his head for out number 1. What a play there by the third baseman.
Number 7
to get Andrew Nations.
Grooms.
5-3 on that put out. Hayden Grooms steps in. He's a 1-for-1 in the ball game. An RBI single back in the first inning. Steps in here with one out and the base is empty. In the bottom of the third. Fletcher works from the third base side of the rubber in the stretch. The first pitch to Grooms. A swing and a miss. Strike one to Hayden. Coach Vieira encouraging his batter, Hayden Grooms there. Coach Vieira out of the third base box. Coach David Durrell down at the first base box for the Eagles. The 0-1 pitch. Grooms ground ball up the middle off the glove of Fletcher. He fields it again, throws the first in time. And a quick 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Nice play there by Fletcher to field his position. 1-3 on the putout. So at 2 outs, that'll bring up the right fielder, Jackson Rainey.
11, Jackson Rainey.
Rainey 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out to the left fielder. Bonacci back in this first inning. Steps in with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the bottom of the third. Fletcher, the lefty, looks in and gets the sign from his catcher, Doolin. The first pitch to Rainey. He's in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Jackson Rainey. In his first inning of work, Fletcher allowed 1 hit, struck out 1, walked 1, hit 1, threw 15 pitches. The 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count now.
Got some sun trying to peek out today. Get a little warmer down on that turf field for you guys.
If they weren't sweating already. The 1-1 pitch. That's misses outside for ball 2. 2-1 the count.
I think Coach Vieira really wants to see something get going here. Maybe a good little 2-out rally.
The 2-1 pitch to Rainey. Misses for ball 3. 3-1 now the count.
Showing some good patience.
Rainey back in now from the left side. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. The base is empty here in the bottom of the third. Fletcher, the lefty, comes set in the stretch. The 3-1 pitch. Ground ball pulled down the first baseline. Foul for strike 2, and now a full count to Jackson Rainey with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. A 3-1 lead for Georgetown. Fletcher comes set. The payoff pitch. Rainey base hit up the middle. Great piece of hitting there. Gives the Eagles a 2-out base runner. Great job by Jackson Rainey. The second hit allowed by Fletcher. 6th of the ball game for your Eagles. So a 2-out base runner for Georgetown brings up Cord Lawrence. Lawrence 1 for 1 in the ball game. Led off the second with a triple. Was left stranded there as he steps in with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Rainey leads off, being held on by Phillips over at first base. The first pitch to Lawrence. Swinging, pulls it foul. Ground ball towards the third base dugout. 0-1 to count to Lawrence. On deck, Luke Holly. Should Lawrence be able to extend this inning? Lawrence back in for the right side. Fletcher comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch as Rainey takes off and runs on the pitch. The throw down not in time as Rainey beats the tag. So 1-1 the count now to Cord Lawrence as that pitch missed up and in. But Jackson Rainey, the first stolen base of the ball game for your Georgetown Eagles here in the bottom of the third. Puts a runner in scoring position with 2 outs now and a 1-1 count to Cord Lawrence, the second baseman. Fletcher comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Lawrence chases it down to the turf. A swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1-2 to count. Lawrence was the first batter to face off against Fletcher in the top of the second for that triple to right center field. And now behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fletcher will step off and get his catcher, Doolin, to go through the signs again. Rainey leads off second. Fletcher comes set in the stretch. Look at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Lawrence fouls it off, stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But Dave, the Eagles kept that 2-out mentality going last night in Bastrop, and it paid off for them after being tied 1-1 into that 5th inning, and the Eagles finally opened it up for that 8-1 win. The 1-2 pitch. Lawrence fouls it off, back to the screen.
Yeah, they had a good couple of innings late, and they racked on the plated runs, that's for sure.
They love that 2-out. That's the one thing about the Georgetown program. This team thrives on a 2-out situation and keeping innings going. Fletcher's 1-2 pitch. Lawrence takes it for ball 2. 2-2 now the count. Good battle here with Cord Lawrence and Fletcher. Next pitch will be the 7th in the at-bat for Cord to see. Here in the bottom of the third with 2 outs, a runner at second. The 2-2 pitch. Lawrence takes it outside corner, called strike 3. Looked like it missed off the corner before it broke in late. But it's a strike 3 called, the second strikeout for Fletcher. And the bottom of the third comes to an end for your Georgetown Eagles. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base after 3 complete innings. Georgetown 3, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. And we go to the top of the 4th inning. Hagen Tate on for his 4th inning of work. The first pitch is up and in for ball 1. As the catcher, Peyton Doolin, bails out of the way and takes it for a ball. Doolin, the catcher, leads it off. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Raiders here in the top of the 4th, trailing 3-1. The 1-0 pitch. Doolin throws his bat at it, pops foul into foul territory down the third baseline, and there's Talon Ball to make the catch for out number 1. F5 in the book to retire Doolin. And that'll bring up the DH, number 24, Matthew Fletcher. He's 0 for 0 in the ball game. Walked and scored the only run of the game back in the 2nd inning for the Raiders. The first pitch from Hagen Tate. Misses just outside for ball 1. 1-0 to count. Tate from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. That one misses low for ball 2. 2-0 the count now. To Matthew Fletcher. Back in from the left side. Hagen Tate gets the sign. The 2-0 pitch. That one's there on the inside corner for a called strike. 2-1 now the count. No activity for the Raiders in the bullpen, so Fletcher will stay on the mound, you can assume. A swing and a miss on the 2-1 pitch. Makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes now to the cleanup hitter, Matthew Fletcher. Two pitch fouled off. Back out of play down the third baseline. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matthew Fletcher. The 2-2 pitch from Tate. Slapped foul back off the netting. So Fletcher battling here with Hagen Tate. One out, the base is empty in the top of the 4th for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. On deck, the left fielder, Nick Bonacci. Tate from the windup, the 2-2 pitch. He'll chase that one, but fouls it off, back out of play. Hagen Tate tried to get him to chase the 2-2 high fastball, and he did, but he got a piece of it. Stays alive, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three runs in the bottom of the 1st for Georgetown, 1 in the top of the 2nd for the Raiders. As I said, our 3-1 score here in the top of the 4th. Base is empty with 1 out. Hagen Tate from the windup, the 2-2 pitch. And he chases one in the ground. It gets past Herrera. And so it'll be a strikeout in the book. With that swing and a miss on that pitch down in the turf, Fletcher will reach first base. So the 2nd strikeout for Hagen Tate. But now a 1-out base runner.
Number 3, Nick Bonacci.
Nick Bonacci will step in.
Number 26, Kai Rice.
Kai Rice will be the courtesy runner for the pitcher, Matthew Fletcher. As Nick Bonacci steps in, 1 for 1 in the ball game. He had a single in the 2nd, but then was picked off by Hagen Tate at first base. First pitch to Bonacci, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Lots of activities in the Red Poppy Festival will be a part of this weekend here in downtown Georgetown. Just find your parking before you go.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, parking is at a premium. Easton Corbin plays tonight, so I imagine the entire square will be packed.
Going off in Dripping Springs this weekend, Founders Day down in Kyle, the Wiener Dog races. A lot of activities going on in local communities. The 1-1 pitch. Running down to 2nd. Holly goes high and gets the tag, or the throw. They can't get the tag down in time, but a good job of keeping that throw out of center field. A stolen base there for Kai Rice. 2nd stolen base for the Raiders. Has a man in scoring position now with 1 out. And a 2-1 count to Bonacci. Tate from the stretch. A look back at second base. The 2-1 pitch. Bonacci is swing and a miss. Strike 2. 2-2, now the count. To the left fielder, Nick Bonacci. Tate comes set in the stretch. First base side of the rubber. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hagen Tate blew it by him for out number 2. And with 2 outs and a runner at 2nd, that'll bring up the second baseman,
16,
Carson Reeves.
Carson Reeves.
3rd strikeout of the ball game for Hagen Tate. Reeves steps in 0 for 1. He grounded out to Luke Holly on an RBI ground out back in the 2nd inning that scored Fletcher. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at 2nd. The first pitch from Tate. Pitch was low and away. Home plate umpire said that he was able to check his swing. It's a ball. 1-0 the count. To Carson Reeves. Jake Shoemaker, the right fielder, on deck for the Raiders. Should Reeves be able to extend the inning. Kai Rice, the courtesy runner down at 2nd, leads off there. As Hagen Tate comes set in the stretch, a peek at second base. And now the 1-0 pitch. That time he went around and chased the pitch down in the turf for strike 1. 1-1 to count. Hagen must have something going on that pitch that's drawing a lot of check swings and swings from these Raider batters.
Yeah, they're seeing something. And
it's a filthy pitch coming out of the hand of Hagen Tate. 1-1 to count with 2 outs. Tate comes set in the stretch, the 1-1 pitch. That breaking pitch on the inside corner. Late called strike. And now 1-2 to Carson Reeves. as Kelly would say, the vampires did not agree that are in the purple and black.
Yeah.
Here on the first base side of the stands.
Luke Hawley is seeing something too. He's letting them know about. That was just a little high on the inside. I think that's what maybe the.
But then you look at a player like Reeves though that steps in. He is 6'2". A lot of your batters 5'8" to 6 foot tall.
Right.
The taller batter expends that zone and he gets the strike call. And now a 1-2 count. The 1-2 pitch, low and away. Good stop by Reeves Herrera to keep that one from the backstop and advancing the runner. And now a 2-2 count with 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A runner at second base here in the top of the 4th. Cedar Ridge trying to claw back into this one, trailing 3-1. Hagen Tate will come set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball pulled foul down the third baseline as Talon Ball fields it in foul territory. And the count remains 2-2 now. It was crazy looking at all the posts coming through yesterday on social media. The Founders Day in Dripping Springs, Red Poppy Festival here after the 2-step in last week. Mm-hmm. And then the Wiener Dog races down there at Kyle Buda. Lots of activities. The 2-2 pitch. Line drive pulled down the third base line. It's foul. Home plate umpire just foul. Whatever Leininger got over here, about 6 inches.
Thank goodness.
Reeves' foul ball was less than that on the line down third base.
Holy cow.
And the Eagles benefit there.
Thank goodness that blade of grass was still there.
Now that precision line painting every day comes into play. Thank goodness there was no bends in that line. So Reeves will step back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a runner at second base. Hagen Tate comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Now a full count.
He's trying to get him chase that outside.
Tried for it one more time. He couldn't get it. Now a full count to Carson Reeves. Turn towards second base.
Oh, no.
Hagen Tate throws it into center field. Peterson will grab it. But that's the first error for Georgetown. And that will allow Kai Rice to move up 90 feet to third base. So now, as Hagen Tate spun toward second base and threw it, but it sailed away from him. Away from the shortstop, Holly, into center field. So the first error of the ball game moves the runner up 90 feet, just 90 feet away now from the second run. If Reeves can stay alive. The payoff pitch to Reeves. Pop fly on the infield, and the Eagles are going to get out of trouble as Hagen Tate calls for it, makes the catch for out number 3.
Right.
No runs on no hits. No errors, or 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. After 3.5 innings, Georgetown 3, Cedar Ridge nothing. Eagle baseball continues here in just a moment. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Eagles will bring up the 9-1 and 2 hitters. Luke Holly, Devin Peterson, Talon Ball due up as Holly steps in 0 for 1 in the ball game. The first pitch from Fletcher is outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Luke. Luke in his first at bat flew out to the first baseman Phillips over at the fence as the ball went out of play and blew back in with his win. Now he steps in 0 for 1, takes the 1-0 pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. 1-1 now the count to Luke Colley. Fletcher comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Holly takes it outside for ball 2, 2-1 the count. Holly back in from the right side. Fletcher comes set, the 2-1 pitch. Holly fouls it back to the screen for strike 2, 2-2 now. Devin Peterson on deck. Talon ball in the hole for your Eagles here in the bottom of the 4th. Leading it 3-1. The 2-2 pitch to Holly. Outside, ball 3. So a full count to the leadoff man, Luke Holly. The Eagles have had a base runner in each of the first 3 innings. Would love to have the leadoff man aboard. The payoff pitch. Holly sends a ride into center field. Johnson on his horse, and it's over his head. Luke Holly cruises around first. It's all the way to the wall. Holly around second. He's headed to third, and he'll be in there with a leadoff triple. For the second time in 4 innings, Dave, the leadoff man is on with a triple.
That's crazy.
Can we get him home?
Yeah, don't leave him stranded. Let's find a way to plate these runs.
So Luke Holly, a beautiful piece of hitting there. Dead straightaway center field.
17, Devin Peterson.
Amari Johnson, the center fielder, turned and took off running and picked it up at the base of the wall and threw it in. And Luke Holly easily into third.
And you talked about that the other night. You know, the bottom of the order is not necessarily the weakest batter. Y'all talked about that at the coaches show. Any of these batters are going to be swinging, and they're a threat.
And how big is that the bottom of your lineup turns it right back to the top of your lineup?
Yeah.
To keep things moving as Devin Peterson fouls off the first pitch on a bunt attempt. Foul back behind home plate, 0-1 to count. Infield corners are in for the Raiders. The 0-1 pitch. Peterson hits a line drive to short. It's on the ground. Hargrove has to throw but cannot. It's going to be an infield RBI single. Hopefully Hargrove's all right. That play as he made it in the turf. Kind of buckled his glove hand under, so hopefully he's all right. But that'll be a base hit RBI for Devin Peterson.
Batting number 2, Talon Ball.
And the Eagles make it right there by scoring that leadoff triple. And Luke Colley on that base hit on the infield single by Devin Peterson. And here comes Talon Ball. Georgetown leads it 4-1. Peterson leads off first, held on by Phillips. Throw over to first. The runner is off. Phillips is going to throw down, but Peterson will beat it.
Nice job of running. He had the jump on that one. Great job.
Second stolen base of the ball game for your Georgetown Eagles as they put pressure on the pitchers. Last night, Bastrop made them pay several times. Today, it's paying off.
And the pitcher had a slow movement getting that ball to first, and I think Coach recognized that and gave him a sign or something. He's like, just go.
Talon Balls fouls off the first pitch back to the screen, 0-1 to count. And the good thing there is Devin didn't hesitate. He took off at full speed, slid into the base, and beat the throw from Phillips.
Makes me think it was pre-planned. Like that was his assignment. Just go. Just run. Don't worry. I see something. You'll be fine.
The 0-1 pitch to Talon. Pickoff move. Peterson to second. He's in there safely as the throw was back to the second base side of the bag.
And now you've got, like you were saying, you've taken the attention off the batter. Now you're trying to get these guys out on the plates, and it's a distraction for your pitching game because you get out of your routine.
Yep. 0-1 to count to Talon. A look back at second base. The 0-1 pitch. Talon fouls it back for strike 2. 0-2 the count. Talon 1 for 1 in the ball game. A single in the first, walked and left stranded in the second. As he stands in here with an 0-2 count, no outs and a runner at second. 1 run across here in the inning for Georgetown, the 4-1 lead over Cedar Ridge. Fletcher, the lefty, comes set in the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Down and away. It gets away from the catcher, Doolin, and Peterson easily moves up. That'll be a pass ball there.
And that's why Coach had him run from first to second, steal that base.
That big pass ball as that got away from Doolin, and now it's a 1-2 count to Talon Ball and a runner just 90 feet away with no outs.
No outs.
Fletcher comes set as Peterson leads off third. The 1-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. It's in the turf. Doolin's going to have to throw down to first and does for out number 1. So it'll be a strikeout of Talon Ball, the drop third strike. 2-3 on the putout. Third
Now
strikeout
batting
for
number
Fletcher.
21, Riley Leininger.
That'll bring up the lefty, Riley Leininger. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game, an RBI double and a run scored in the first, hit by a pitch and left stranded in the second. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at third base. Infield at regular depth. The first baseman Phillips about even with the bag at first. The first pitch from Fletcher is down in the turf. Ball 1 for Riley. That running game and putting pressure on the opposing pitching staff continues to work for Georgetown. The 1-0 pitch to Leininger is up and in. Ball 2, 2-0 the count.
You know, if Big 6A Cedar Ridge thinks they're going to come in here and run all over a 5A opponent, you know, we're undefeated in our district, and this team is not too shabby.
The 2-0 pitch. Leininger pulls it down the first base line. Fair! It's off the bag and into right field. Leininger's going to head to second base. He's going to have an RBI double here in the bottom of the fourth. 2 runs across on the inning now after Peterson scores on that RBI double by Riley Leininger off the first base bag. Well, what a piece of hitting there. 2 doubles now for Leininger in the ball game.
Nice. Well done. That was, talk about just barely getting it fair right there.
9th hit of the ball game for your Eagles. 5th off of Fletcher. Coach Reeves out to talk to the home plate umpire. I don't know if the argument's it's fair. It went off the bag. That's in fair territory. The entire bag is in fair territory. So I'm not sure what the argument is there with Coach Reeves and the umpire, but he'll head back to the first base dugout. And in steps Reese Herrera. Herrera 1 for 2 in the ball game. A single and a run scored in the first inning. Flew out to the third baseman in the second. The first pitch to Herrera is up and in. Ball 1, 1-0 the count.
That's just an attention getter.
Chin music. 1-0 the count to Reese. 1 out, a runner at second base for Georgetown. 2 runs in on the inning, a 5-1 lead. The 1-0 pitch to Reese. Herrera, fly ball down the third baseline, but Wynn's going to play helpmate there on this one as it blows it way out of play. 4 strike 1, 1-1 now the count to the catcher, Reese Herrera. On deck, Andrew Nations, the left fielder for your Eagles. Herrera back in from the right side. Fletcher comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Herrera takes it for a called strike. Nice breaking pitch there. It drops in. A lot of space over there between first and second base, Dave, with the second baseman covering.
Right.
With the runner, Leininger. So an opportunity here. Herrera can punch one the opposite way into right field to move the runner over. Leininger down at second base after the RBI double, leads off. The 1-2 pitch to Herrera. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as Herrera strikes out for out number 2. 4th strikeout for Matthew Fletcher.
Now batting.
Second out of the inning.
Andrew
That'll bring
Nations.
up Andrew Nations. He's 0 for 2. He had an RBI ground out in the first and grounded out to third back in the third inning. 0 for 2 in the ball game. Steps in here from the left side with the runner at second and 2 outs. The first pitch to Nations, a swing and a miss, strike 1.
You know, if he can jack it right over the second baseman's head right there, all the way to that Frostbank sign,
It would be nice.
He'll be have an RBI triple.
0-1 the count to Nations. Fletcher looks at second, the 0-1 pitch. Nations takes it for ball 1, 1-1 to count. To the left fielder, Andrew. Hayden Grooms waits on deck. Should Nations be able to extend the inning? Fletcher comes set. A look at second base, the 1-1 pitch. And that breaking pitch catches the inside corner for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Nations.
Something must be something with his pitching. We're having some. We're getting some balls, some strikes past us that I don't know.
Fletcher comes set. The 1-2 pitch. And he chases that one down in the turf for strike 3, and the Eagles are down here in the bottom of the 4th, but not before they pick up 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 1 runner left on base. After 4 complete innings, Georgetown 5, Cedar Ridge nothing. Eagle baseball continues in a moment.
Jenny Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's jenny.mahan@cbunited.com.
We go to the top of the 5th inning. The Raiders bring up the 7, 8, 9 hitters against Hagen Tate. First pitch is outside for ball 1 to Jake Shoemaker, the right fielder. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging in the second as he leads off things here in the top of the 5th for the Raiders. 1-0 pitch skips in there for ball 2.
I believe we've got number 22 for Cedar Ridge warming up out there in the, unless that's the catcher.
The 2-0 pitch. Line drive pulled foul down the first baseline. 2-1 now the count. Jake Shoemaker.
It would be number 22 warming up down there for him because 20 is the catcher.
Warming up will be Reed Cox, a right-handed freshman. 2-1 pitch. Misses for ball 3. 3-1 now the count. To Jake Shoemaker, the right fielder, with Landon Phillips, the first baseman, on deck. Tate from the windup. The 3-1 pitch is in the, skips in there for ball 4. That'll be the third walk issued by Hagen Tate.
Now batting number 8.
So now a man on board with no outs here in the top of the 5th, and that'll bring up the number 8 hitter, number 8 himself, the first baseman, Landon Phillips. He's 0 for 1 as he struck out in the 3rd inning. Shoemaker leads off first, held on by Leiniger. Tate from the stretch, the first pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. 0-1 to count to Phillips with Diego Olivas, the third baseman, on deck for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. Tate comes set, the 0-1 pitch. Foul tip into the glove of Reese Herrera for strike 2. 0-2 now the count. To Landon Phillips. No outs here in the top of the 5th. 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st, 2 in the bottom of the 4th for your Eagles. 1 in the top of the 2nd for the Raiders. The 5-1 score here in the top of the 5th. The 0-2 pitch misses low and away for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Phillips back in from the right side. Shoemaker leads off first. Hagen Tate comes set. 1-2 pitch. Fly ball left side of the field. That'll drift back into left field. Andrew Nations will settle under it for out number 1. F7 in the book as Shoemaker returns to first base.
Now batting number 7, Diego Olivas.
Diego Olivas steps in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game as well. Third baseman. He's 0 for 1 as he flew out to left field back in the 3rd inning. Steps in here with the runner at first and 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. Hagen Tate comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Olivas. Line drive sent out into shallow center. No, left center. Luke Hawley a chance to double off the runner, but can't get it there in time as he was about 15 to 20 feet out of the grass. Great play there by Hawley to read that little floater.
They've thrown into about 16-mile-an-hour winds there, too.
And that was about, it was like one of those Texas leaguers, but a good read by Hawley makes it out number 2. And Shoemaker able to get back to the bag at first base with 2 outs now.
I expect the catcher is going to be like, hey, you see that big lead they're getting over there on first base? Let's see if we can get this guy.
Hagen
'Cause
Tate with already one pickoff in the ball game.
He's had some big. Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Herrera came out and said, "Here comes Coach." That may be the ball game for Hagen Tate. It looks like it's a call to the bullpen. We'll take a quick timeout. Georgetown baseball continues in a minute. And that call to the bullpen brings on to the mound for your Eagles, number 22, Jaden Howell, the 6'3", 165-pound junior, throws right. As he steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at first to face off against Omari Johnson. First pitch, the run down to second base. The tag not in time. A stolen base there for Jake Shoemaker. Third stolen base of the ball game for the Raiders. So now a man in scoring position. And a 1-0 count to Omari Johnson, who's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Howell works from the center of the rubber in the stretch. A look at second base. The 1-0 pitch. That one sails high. Ball 2, 2-0 the count to Omari Johnson. He flew out to right field in the first inning, walked and stole second, was left stranded in the third. As he comes to plate here with 2 outs in the top of the fifth. 2-1 pitch. That's a beautiful pitch from Jaden Howell. That's in there for a called strike. 2-1 now the count to Omari Johnson with Hudson Hartgrove on deck. The shortstop for the Raiders. Should Howell be able to extend the inning. Now Johnson will take a timeout at home plate and step out and reset himself. Johnson back in now from the left side, ready to go. It's Jaden Howell. Comes set in the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Beautiful pitch there by Jaden Howell. And now a 2-2 count with 2 outs and a runner at second. We've been here recently. That was back in the top of the 4th inning. Now comes set in the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled off back behind home plate. Omari Johnson stays alive in the at-bat. The book's not yet closed on Hagen Tate. Still responsible for the runner down at second base in Jake Shoemaker. But he threw 4 2/3 inning, only allowed 1 hit, struck out 3, walked 3 in his time on the mound. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball out towards second. Lawrence will backhand the throw to first down to the turf. And Leininger drops it. Here comes the play to the plate. Leininger's throwing the turf, and Herrera just has to block it. So the Eagles a chance here to get out of the inning. But that'll be on the first baseman, Leininger. He had it in his glove and dropped it at first base. So now runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Hudson Hartgrove.
No Shoemaker up to third base. Johnson down to first on the E3. And now Hudson Hartgrove steps in. He's 0 for 2. A fly out in the first, a ground out in the third. On a beautiful play by Talon Ball back in the third inning to get Hartgrove at first. Runner is off. The pitch is high. The throw down. They fake it. They'll throw down behind the runner at third. But it's too high.
That was cool.
Talon trying to sell that one.
He tried to sell it like it went past him, see if he could get that runner to take off. That was cool.
Amari Johnson still second base without a throw. 4 stolen base for the Raiders. And now runners on second and third with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Down by 4. Cedar Ridge trying to get back into it. Jaden Howe will move to the windup now. The 1-0 pitch to Hartgrove. That breaking pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count now to Hartgrove. The 1-1 pitch from Howe. Breaking pitch lined out into left field. Andrew Nation settles under it. And the Raiders are retired with no damage done here in the top of the 5th. No runs on no hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. After 4.5 innings, Georgetown 5, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle baseball continues after this.
Jenny Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's jenny.mahan@cbunited.com.
And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. New pitcher on for the Cedar Ridge Raiders will be number 22, Reed Cox. He's a 6'3", 375-pound freshman, throws from the right side. And he will come on here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Raiders to face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Hayden Grooms, Jackson Rainey, and Cord Lawrence. The righty works from the windup, the first base side of the rubber. The first pitch is high and inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Hayden Grooms. Hayden 1 for 2 in the ball game. The 1-0 pitch.
Oh, wow.
I hesitate to even talk about that one. 1-1 now the count.
Okay.
Good job by the catcher to frame that one up into a playable pitch. Seemed a lot lower than it looked. The 1-1 pitch. That break and ball is just missed. Nope, it did not miss. It's a late call by the umpire, and it's a 1-2 count now to Hayden Grooms.
Wow.
As Reed Cox on for his first inning of works.
I mean, maybe it's the wind.
I don't know. The 1-2 pitch. This is outside for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Tough pitch there for Grooms to lay off, but does, and draws a 2-2 count now. From the windup, the 2-2 pitch. Low and outside, ball 3, and now a full count. So
good fighting effort here.
Good at bat for Hayden Grooms as he's got it back to a full count here to lead off the bottom of the 5th for Georgetown, leading it 5-1 over Cedar Ridge. From the windup, the payoff pitch. Grooms lets it go and takes it for ball 4. And a leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 5th. The first walk issued by Reed Cox, the second of the ball game for Raider pitchers.
11, Jackson Rainey.
Jackson Rainey will step in. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Rainey flew out to left in the first, singled and stole second, was left stranded in the third. As he steps in here with no outs and a runner at first. Cox moves to the stretch. Grooms leads off first. The first pitch to Rainey is in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Your right fielder, Jackson Rainey with Cord Lawrence now on deck. Phillips holds Grooms on at first base. As Cox comes set in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Rainey. Rainey lays off and takes it for a called strike. Oh, 0-2 the count, but now the catcher, Doolin, is going to go out and talk to his pitcher, Reed Cox, the freshman that's come on here in the 5th inning for the Raiders. In 3 innings of work, Fletcher gave up 5 hits, struck out 5, walked 1, hit 1. Gave up 2 runs in his 3 innings of work, threw 54 pitches. As he goes back to the DH role, Rainey sends the 0-2 pitch into shallow center field. Center fielder Johnson charges in and makes the catch for out number 1 as Grooms retreats to first base. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Bring it up, Cord Lawrence. Lawrence 1 for 2 in the ball game. Led off the bottom of the 2nd with a triple, was left stranded there. Then struck out looking after a 7-pitch at bat in the 3rd inning on a tough called 3rd strike. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first base. As Reed Cox, the freshman right-hander, on a relief, comes set in the stretch. The first pitch to Lawrence misses outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Cord Lawrence, the number 8 hitter for the Eagles. On deck, Luke Holley, the shortstop. More activity down the first baseline in the Cedar Ridge bullpen. The 1-0 pitch to Lawrence is up and in for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Cord. Two balls, no strikes to Lawrence. 1 out and a runner at first base. Here in the bottom of the 5th. Grooms leads off first. The 2-0 pitch. Low and outside, ball 3. 3-0 the count now to Cord Lawrence. Senior second baseman for your Eagles. Another visit from Doolin, the catcher. His freshman reliever, Reed Cox, the 6'3", 175-pound freshman. I can't agree with 175 pounds on that kid. He is a small frame 6'3". Cox comes set, the 3-0 pitch, misses outside, ball 4. Nope, it's a balk. So that pitch is non-existent, and Hayden Grooms heads down to second base on the first balk of the ball game. So now a runner in scoring position and a 3-0 count. We'll reset the 3-0 count, the 3-0 pitch to Lawrence. And that one's in there for a called strike. 3-1 now to Cord. So it actually works out better if he would have walked it. Had runners on first and second. The balk puts the runner on second. The bat's still alive. That bat's still alive for Cord at home plate. Cox looks at second, the 3-1 pitch. That one's low and away, and he gets away on a wild pitch, and that'll let Grooms move up to third base. So now runners on the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. So now a costly mistake there.
Next up for the Eagles, number 6.
On the wild pitch.
Luke Holley.
As Grooms cruises into third on that wild pitch. Cord Lawrence heads down to first on the second walk issued by the reliever, Reed Cox. In steps Luke Holley. He's 1 for 2 in the ballgame. flew out into foul territory in the second inning. Then tripled and scored a run in the fourth. 1 for 2 in the ball game. A runner off from first, Cord Lawrence. He'll be allowed to steal the base as the second baseman cuts the throw to keep the runner Grooms at third base. Another stolen base for Georgetown.
Looks as though the second baseman was wanting to cut that off and throw it in case the guy ran from third.
And Hayden Grooms stayed close to the bag. So now 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Cox comes set in the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Holly. He'll take it for called strike 1. 1-1 to count to Luke. Holly back in from the right side. The 1-1 pitch. Holly is swinging a miss. Strike 2. 1-2. Now the count to the shortstop, Luke Holly. They're going to call it a strikeout. It was 0-2 when he went into bat there. All right. So it's a strikeout. So 2 outs in the inning.
Now batting number 17, Devin Peterson.
So Holly down for out number 2 on the strikeout. Brings up Devin Peterson. First strikeout for Reed Cox. And Devin Peterson steps in. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game. Scored 2 runs, has an RBI. So he stands in here with runners on second and third and 2 outs. The first pitch, he takes it for called strike 1. 0-1 the count.
If there's anything you can swing at, y'all just swing at it. Because the strike zone is so huge this game. Just swing away, you know.
The 0-1 pitch from Cox. Peterson hits it out towards shortstop. Hartgrove up with it. The throw across the diamond in the turf, but scooped by Phillips at first base for out number 3. The Eagles go down here in the bottom of the 5th. No runs on no hits. No errors and 2 runners left on base after 5 complete. Georgetown 5. Cedar Ridge 0. Eagle baseball continues in just a moment. We go to the top of the 6th. Andrew Nation's on to pitch for the Eagles, and he'll face off against the catcher, Peyton Doolin. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Raiders here at the top of the 6th. Doolin 0 for 2 in the ball game. The 1-0 pitch from Nations. That one just misses inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count now to the catcher, Doolin. Tate Ritchie comes on defensively in left field for your Georgetown Eagles as Nations moves to the mound. The 2-0 pitch just misses inside. Ball 3. 3-0 the count. So defensively for your Eagles, Ritchie in left, Peterson center, Rainey in right. The infield stays the same for Georgetown on the 3-0 pitch here. That one's in there for a called strike, 3-1 to count. Talon Ball at third base, Holly at short, Lawrence at second, and Leiniger at first base with Reese Herrera still behind the plate. The 3-1 pitch from Andrew Nations. Fly ball into left field. Tate Ritchie settles under it, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. Well, good job of coming back from a 3-0 count there by Andrew Nations. F7 in the book to retire Doolin. That'll bring up the number 4 hitter, the 4th slot in the lineup. The DH, Matthew Fletcher. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Walked and scored a run in the second. Struck out. Reached base on a drop third strike. Takes his first pitch up and away for ball 1. It was left stranded there in the 4th inning. From the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball hit out to second. Cord Lawrence slides to his left, makes the play. What a play! Cord Lawrence, the second baseman, gloved it on the slide to his left. Throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. 4-3 on the putout. What a play there by Cord Lawrence.
That was beautiful. That's MLB stuff right there.
Another gold star defensive play. Talon Ball, 1 at third base. Now Cord Lawrence, 1 at second, and 2 outs in the inning. Brings up Nick Bonacci, the left fielder, a swing and a miss on the first pitch. 0-1 to count now to Bonacci, who is 1 for 2 in the ball game with a single and a strikeout. The 0-1 pitch from Nations misses just low for ball 1. 1-1 to count to Bonacci, batting in from the right side. The 1-1 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 2. And now a 1-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the 6th inning. Nations 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and a quick inning for Georgetown. 3 up, 3 down, thanks to some good defense by Cord Lawrence at second base. And the Raiders are retired in order here at the top of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. After 5.5, Georgetown 5, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle baseball continues in a moment. And we're back here for the bottom of the 6th inning. A new pitcher on. It's number 13, Aiden Felker, 6'2", 150-pound junior. Bats left, throws right. He'll work here at the bottom of the 6th against the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. First pitch to Talon Ball on the generous outside corner for a called strike 1.
Wow, I'm sorry.
0-1 to count. The 0-1 pitch. Misses for ball 1. 1-1 to count. That one was very similar. And now a 1-1 count to Talon Ball. He is 1 for 2 in the ball game. A single, a walk, and a strikeout. This one skips into the left-handed batter's box for ball 2. 2-1 to count now to Talon Ball, your third baseman. On deck, Riley Leiniger, Reese Herrera in the hole for the Eagles here. That 2-1 pitch misses inside. Ball. No, my goodness. It's called a strike. Almost hit Talon, and now it's a 2-2 count. Felker comes set in the stretch, the 2-2 pitch. And he'll foul it off. Down the first baseline, Fletcher gives a long pursuit, but can't get to it over at first base as he's come in defensively over there for Phillips. So the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Talon Ball. Here leading off things in the bottom of the 6th. In one inning of work for Reed Cox, he threw 19 pitches, struck out 1, walked 2, 1 wild pitch and a balk. As he worked the bottom of the 5th there for the Raiders. Now Felker on in relief here in the 6th. Felker comes set. 2-2 pitch. That one misses low and outside. Ball 3, a full count now to Talon Ball. The payoff pitch. Talon Ball. Fly ball into deep left center field. The left fielder will call off the center fielder. Bonacci will make the catch for out number 1. F7 in the book to retire Talon Ball. And that'll bring in Riley Leininger.
Now batting number 21.
He's
Riley
2 for 2 in the
Leininger.
ball game. An RBI double in the first with a run scored. Hit by a pitch in the second. An RBI double in the 4th and left stranded there as he steps in 2 for 2. Reach base in all 3 plate appearances. It steps in here from the left side. The first pitch from Felker. Low and inside off the shoe top of the umpire. 1-0 the count. Catcher Doolin will go out and talk to his pitcher to give the umpire a chance to recover there as he took it off the shoe top. Coach Reeves talking to him, giving him a few seconds there. Surprised more umpires don't leave fields with more bruises and the opportunities they face with fouled off balls, pitches that are wild in the dirt and overthrown, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Leininger steps back in, 1-0 count as Felker comes set in the stretch, the 1-0 pitch. Leininger fly ball high into left field. Shortstop Hartgrove will drift back, but he'll be called off by Bonacci, and he'll settle under it for out number 2. F7 retire Leininger. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up the catcher, number 16, Reese Herrera. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game. Herrera singled back in the first inning, flew out to third in the second, struck out swinging in the 4th. And he will not be hitting here. This will be Caden Sykes coming in to hit for Herrera. The first pitch from Felker. Sykes takes it low as it skips in 2 feet short of home plate. Caden Sykes, 5'10", 165-pound junior. Bats right, throws right. Gonna think he'll go in defensively behind the plate for the Eagles as well. The 1-0 pitch from Felker. Ground ball pulled foul down the third baseline. 1-1 the count now to Caden Sykes. Sykes bats from the right side as he steps back in. Felker from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. That one's outside for ball 2. 1-2 now the count, or 2-1 now the count to Caden Sykes here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs and the base is empty. That one's low and outside. Ball 3 now to Caden as he bats here in the number 4 slot for Reese Herrera. For your Georgetown Eagles, a 3-1 count with 2 outs and the base is empty. Sykes ready to go. Felker comes set in the stretch. That's a ball 4. A 2-out walk has a base runner aboard for Georgetown.
Little 2-out rally. We've got a substitute runner here.
This will be number 24, Justin Soto.
Now running for the Eagles, number 24, Justin Soto.
Soto comes on to run for the catcher, Caden Sykes.
Andrew Nation.
And that tells you Sykes will go in defensively behind the plate for Herrera. And Andrew Nation's your pitcher of record. Step in here with 2 outs and a runner at first. The lefty ready to go. The first pitch, Nation fouls it off the catcher. And now the umpire will take his turn and giving the catcher Doolin a break to work that one off as he took the foul ball off of himself. 0-1 the count to Andrew Nations. Just the 4th walk issued by Raider pitchers here in the ball game. As we're in the bottom of the 6th, 5-1. Georgetown leads it. A throw over to first. Soto dives back in safely there. Felker comes set. Nations fouls the 0-1 pitch back out of play. 0-2 the count now to Andrew Nations. I think you may see Cooper Ashby close out the ball game
Yeah.
in the top of the 7th for your Eagles if Nations doesn't go back to the mound. The 0-2 pitch is outside for ball 1. 1-2 now the count to Andrew Nations. Cooper Ashby will be on the Coaches Show Wednesday night live from the Mesquite Creek Outfitters, 6:15 start. Ground ball pulled down the first baseline into foul territory. So Nation stays alive in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here in the bottom of the 6th, 5-1, Georgetown leads it. Five runs on 9 hits and 1 error for Georgetown. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error for the Raiders. The 1-2 pitch to Nations. The runner's off. Soto heads down to second, and he'll be in there safely as he avoids the tag from Hargrove as the throw pulled him up the second base side of the bag. And the ball 2 to Nations makes it a 2-2 count. A runner in scoring positions on the 4th stolen base of the ball game by Eagle base runners. So A.J. back in from the left side, ready to go. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and now the catcher,
That's
Doolin.
not a balk.
He stepped off the back foot. He wants to meet with his catcher, Doolin. So Felker wanting to make sure he has the pitch correctly with a 2-2 count. A runner in scoring position down at second base here in the bottom of the 6th. Felker from the stretch comes set with a look at second base. The 2-2 pitch. Nations fly ball sent into left center field. The center fielder Johnson ranges over, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. F8 in the book to retire Nations and the Eagles here in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 6 complete innings, Georgetown 5, Cedar Ridge 1. Eagle baseball continues after this. And we go to the top of the 7th. Nations on for a second inning of work. It'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Carson Reeves, Jake Shoemaker, and Landon Phillips. Reeves will step in from the right side, 0 for 2 in the ball game with an RBI. Nations the lefty, the first pitch. Ground ball hit out to third. Talon ball fields it on a hop. The throw across the diamond in time. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. And the Raiders down to their final 2 outs to come back in this one. Trailing 5-1. 5-3 on that put out to retire Reeves, and in steps Jake Shoemaker. The lefty will step in, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out in the 2nd, walked and stole 2nd, and left stranded at 3rd in the 5th inning. He steps in here with 1 out, the base is empty. From the windup, the first pitch from AJ. It's on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1 the count. AJ and Drew Nations on their second inning of work. The 0-1 pitch, breaking pitch in there. Oh my! Just because the batter duck doesn't make it a ball. 1-1 to count now to a Shoemaker. The 1-1 pitch. That breaking pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-2 to count now.
You're not the only one that, yeah. Goodness.
Pinch hitter on deck for the Raiders. Ground ball pulled foul by Shoemaker. Stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looks to be number 21 in the on-deck circle, Noah Olivas. He's the 5'8", 150-pound freshman. I would assume the brother of the junior, Diego Olivas. A foul ball out in front of the mound. Throw down to first. Or not a foul ball. A ball out in front of the mound. A throw down from Caden Sykes for the put out at first base. And here comes the substitute, the pinch hitter here for the number 9-8 hitter, Landon Phillips.
Noah Olivas.
Noah Olivas will step in from the right side. First pitch from Nations is in there for a called strike. 0-1 to count to Olivas with 2 outs and the base is empty. This one skips in for ball 1. 1-1 now the count. The 1-1 pitch just misses off the outside corner for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch, line drive, slapped down the first baseline, but it curls out of play. The count goes to 2-2 now with 2 outs and the base is empty. And Raiders down to their final strike. Nation's 2-2 pitch. Misses low for ball 3 and now a full count to Olivas. As Diego Olivas stands on deck. Should Noah be able to extend the inning here with 2 outs? Nations gets the sign. The payoff pitch. Line drive down the first base line, but this curls foul as well. Noah stays alive in the pinch hit at bat with a full count, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 7th, 5-1 your score. Georgetown strike away from winning this ball game. The 3-2 pitch. A line drive hit into left field. Tate Ritchie will come on and make the catch for out number 3, and that's the ball game. L7 to retire the Raiders in order here in the top of the 7th. And Georgetown wins the ball game 5-1 over the Cedar Ridge Raiders. Georgetown improves to 21-10-1 overall. Cedar Ridge falls to 21-11-0 on the season as both these teams get ready for the playoffs next week. Georgetown will play the Navarro Vikings. We'll go down and talk to Coach Vieira and be back here in just a second on the SHN Sports Network.
His team is dedicated to providing the best. Starting lineups are brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. Longtime supporter of our broadcast, Matt Morrow, and his team is dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible. They do that by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including a handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from experienced loan officers. Matt and his team of loan officers understand the local markets, have access to a wide variety of loan programs, and are ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball by First Responder Broadcasting is brought to you by Carissa Bradford, your local Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is an insurance provider built by Texans for Texans, protecting our families since 1952. The mission of Texas Farm Bureau is to help policyholders manage the financial risk of everyday life and successfully recover from insured losses through prompt, professional, personal service based on high ethical standards. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance offers comprehensive insurance policies for auto, home, farm and ranch, commercial, and life. Carissa can help you find the perfect policy to give you peace of mind that you're covered by a trusted and reputable insurer. For all your insurance needs, call Carissa at 512-777-8511 or visit www.tfb-ins.com. A portion of this broadcast of Georgetown Eagle Baseball is brought to you by Mahan Home and Commercial Services. Your source for all things roofing. We provide you with all the information you need to make a decision about your roof, the first line of defense against Mother Nature. A veteran-owned small business that believes in service with a purpose. Our mission is to service our residential neighbors and commercial community by providing the utmost quality materials and service. Our services include residential roofing, commercial roofing, ladder assist, and holiday lighting. Contact Jesse Mahan at 512-828-7800 or visit their website at mahanhcs.com. Mahan Home and Commercial Services, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball.
The thumbs up, quit waving at me like you're my friend. We're live here on the field, man. We're joined by the Twin Towers, Cord Lawrence, Talent Ball. You guys, offensively, defensively, it all clicked. It seemed like this team was playing well today. You come in after winning the season in District 14-0 on your senior year to go undefeated 3 times in a row. You guys have won district, but they come out against a 6A opponent that's going to the playoffs, a good team out of Cedar Ridge. And you guys put it on, a triple for you offensively, a great hit to lead off the inning, get stranded unfortunately, but then a play like that in the later innings of the game. How big is this for you guys to stay focused, knowing coming in next week the playoffs start against Navarro in that 3-game series, to lock in on a game like this today?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. You know, Coach always says that you got to be able to win on Saturdays if you want to make it a big run in playoffs. And, you know, being able to come out and beat a quality 6A team, and that's a good ball club right there. So it's a really big deal to be able to win that.
Then across the way over at third base, Mighty Mouse here makes a great stab on a ball, get up, fire across the diamond, a hit on the day for you as well. You guys seem to be locking in at the right time. Now you've shown up after coming back from a couple of weeks off with that injury. Now at the third base side, Cord taking care of the opportunities given to him at the second base side. How much fun are you guys having now as it seems to be locking in at the right time to make this run?
I think it's pretty nice. I mean, last year we kind of got hot a little bit early, and I mean, now we're kind of getting hot at a perfect time, so I can't really be upset. And I mean, me and Cord have always talked about being able to play on the field with each other, so I mean, we always hoped to be middle infield, but now it's, in general, it's on the field, so I'm having a great time.
Our 2 Gold Star defensive plays of the game, one from Talon Ball, one from Cord Lawrence. Congrats to you both. You guys, any shout-outs before I let you go today?
My parents and my brother's at a basketball tournament right now. Good luck.
What about you, big guy?
Parents and my sister, of course. So, yep, that's about all.
Thanks, guys. We'll take a quick break. We're waiting for Coach Vieira to come join us. We'll be right back here on the SHN Sports Network. We're back here live on the field with Coach Jordan Vieira. Coach, I got to talk there to the Twin Towers, 2 of your bestial players, Talent Ball there and Cord Lawrence. 2 good defensive plays. Those guys doing a great job there at second base and third base today, both doing their job at the plate. Yep. This team seemed to lock in today. It was one of those deals of you get them ready for the playoff run next week. We won the district last night. They're undefeated. They got the district title. But they locked in today and played great baseball against a good 6A playoff team in Cedar Ridge.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're a good team. You know, we were able to execute some stuff offensively, be able to take bags at opportune times, and be able to get big hits when we need to get big hits. You know, Hagen Tate did a great job on the mound, set us up for success, being able to throw a bunch of strikes and defense being able to make a bunch of plays behind them. So overall, it was a really good day for the Eagles.
How does that help this team? Hagen Tate having another good outing. Devin Peterson had a good outing last night in Bastrop. Then you get an inning out of Jaden Howe when he comes in relief there, a third of an inning. Couple good innings out of Andrew Nations. Yeah. How does that help this team as you guys get clicking there out of the bullpen, running through the playoffs starting next week?
Yeah, you know, you start to make a run on playoffs, you got to have 3 quality starters. You got to have a number of guys out of the bullpen that you can trust, and be able to pass the ball off to another guy. You know, we don't try and just develop one guy. We're trying to develop multiple. And, you know, I think we're in a place right now where we have the potential to have some pretty quality depth out of the backside, and be able to stay in the fight late in games.
You love it today when you get some clean defensive play out of this team. Defensively, just seeing that they're locked in, ready to go to make this run. Wednesday night we'll be live. Mesquite Creek Outfitters, 6:15. A shortened but a good pre-playoff coaches show before Thursday night. We started off with the Navarro Vikings. Yep. What do we look for in that series against Navarro out of Austin ISD?
You know, they're a scrappy team. They're a team that's going to play hard. They're a well-coached team. Coach Anderson over there does a really good job with those guys. So, you know, it's going to be a game where we're going to have to show up and we're going to have to play well, and hope the weather cooperates.
Shout-outs from you before I let you go.
Love you, Mama. Love you, Papa Doodle. And I don't know if the kids are watching or not, but hey, love you too.
21-10-1. The Eagles win it today, heading into the playoffs on a winning note. Wednesday night, join us, Mesquite Creek Outfitters. We'll have the coaches show at 6:15. Have Coach Vieira and a couple of the Eagle players, and then we'll be ready for playoff baseball on Thursday against the Navarro Vikings. Thanks for joining us today. A 5-1 win by your Georgetown Eagles over the Cedar Ridge Raiders. After that, we'll sign it off. Nothing much to talk about. They win again, 21-10-1 on the season. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good day, everybody.
Jenny Mahan, Coldwell Banker Realty, proud sponsor of First Responder Broadcasting and Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A licensed real estate agent since 2016, Jenny is a family-first person that gives all she has to her family. Jenny takes the same love of family and delivers that to her clients from the start. Jenny is happy to help anyone looking to buy or sell a house, farm, or ranch. Let Jenny help you. Contact Jenny at 817-404-9203 or email jenny.mahan@cbunited.com. That's JENNY.MAHAN@cbunited.com.